Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I'm wetting a little bit of potting mix in that pan and then packing it in these corners like they ask. And that is damp, as they said. Now you can see this doesn't fit just right now, but I'm assuming when I get this on there, it will. And then I took, with the potting mix still in the bag, I just sprayed a little bit of water in there to make it moist, because they want you to do that. Now that was 2 cubic feet, and I had used some somewhere else, so it was right around 1.5 is what they want. But anyhow, that's how I'm doing it. I'm moistening it, as they call it, up where I can get it in there, and maybe it'll stay in there good, and then we're going to see what happens next. Okay, I wanted to slow down a little bit and show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going by these instructions, which they want you to put this in, put your plate in, whatever they call it, and then you're supposed to moisten a little bit of potting mix and pack it into these open square corners. Now mine had 3 open square corners, and you have to place that plate in there correctly, because you got one that has that little notch, and you have to turn it correctly in the box or it won't. You'll see what I mean when you go to put it in. If it doesn't look right, turn it around and make sure you got 3 corners that are square and one that will accept that. Now, I moistened my dirt right here that went in the corners, and I packed them in there like I showed you just a minute ago. And then I have, like I said, I sprayed water in the bag, and I just kind of scooped off the wet that was on the top and placed it in there. And that's supposed to help it wick also. So anyhow, that's where we're at right now. Hopefully, this is not as self-explanatory as you might think. And I love this design because it has this weeping hole. I'm going to explain that, why I like that a lot, in a minute, but here we go. Okay, so again, I've already used all the wet potting mix off the top of this, what I had wet in this bag before, and there's about how much dirt I'm going to put on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. I'm going to mix that up with my hand, then I'm going to bring it out and pack it out on top. Okay, so I ended up putting water in that bag 3 times with this hose, and then there's where I came to. And now, like I said, that was a little shy of the 2 cubic feet that come in that size bag. And then, I'm not going to do this much, but then I just kind of did that right there on top and just kind of moistened the top again a little bit. So, I've got to get my dolomite, and we're going to put that on top, but that's what they want next, and I'll be right back. Okay, so when you read this, they tell you all about dolomite right here. That it's not easy to find, and that it's not always called dolomite. I got this at Ace Hardware, and it is one of the things that they mention is okay, which is garden lime, which is a type of dolomite. Now, you know, anyhow, that's what I'm getting at. I'm fixing to put that on top because that's the next step they asked for, and I'll just go look right quick. I think it wants 1 pound of dolomite. I'm fixing to put that on top. Okay, so I hope you can see that all right. I got it everywhere. But that is exactly 1 pound. I even tared the 16-ounce cup. And there's what 1 pound of dolomite looks like in a 16-ounce cup. So there you go. Okay, so there it is, spread on there. And I've got about that much room left, which looks like what they want. So now you're supposed to add another layer of moist potting mix. And I happen to have another bag. That's what I'm fixing to do. Okay, so here is actually where I'm at, step 7. I just finished this. I've added the potting mix to the level of the top of it. And I'm at the point where you add the fertilizer, which I'm not going to do yet because this is for my grandson. This is the little kid's city picker or something. So my grandson and my granddaughters, we're going to grow something in it. We don't even know what yet. It's July, so it's going to be tricky. But anyhow, I put another layer of that and smoothed it out a little bit, and then I dampened it a little bit. I didn't try and dampen it in the bag this time. I dampened it as I put it on, and then I mixed it with my hand and just got that lime, that dolomite, mixed in a little bit. And now what I'm going to do, and I can pick it up. I just tried it. It's not light, don't get me wrong, but I can pick it up. I'll set it on the ground, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the water that they call for, which I think is until it runs out of the weep holes, is what I'm assuming it does. I know it has a weep hole. I've got one of these, and there's the weep hole. And that's kind of what I mentioned a while ago. We have another brand of a self-watering thing like this, except it's a little bit different. I'm not trying to burn them or nothing, but we haven't had it long, so we don't know how it's going to be because it doesn't have this weep hole. And it says if it rains a bunch and it gets full of water, you got to go out and pull a drain and let it drain down to where you want it. And it has a little level device in it where, so, in my opinion, that's not something I'm going to do. I like the weep hole. In fact, I'll probably drill holes in that one. But, I mean, you can see, well, you probably can't see because it's so dark. But I'm going to show you the one I've had for years. And there it is. And I've had that for several years. And this year I got just stuff. I put some kind of beans in here. But I got strawberries. I wish you could see them. The plants look good. I haven't got any berries yet. But there's my basil. I mean, it's the best looking basil I've ever grown. And it requires nearly no maintenance compared to, say, that, where I got to water it every time it gets warm. I mean, every time it gets hot, you got to water it every day or the leaves will turn into nothing. And this sits right here like that all the time. So that's why we like it. And I think it's a great device. But you can see, it's not the cleanest job you'll do, but it works. But anyhow, there you go. And like I said, I'm not going to fertilize it yet. We don't know what we're going to put in it. But that's how you do it. And here is what they call dolomite. It's accepted. If you read the directions, it says you can have garden lime. So that's what we got. Maybe I'll show you what I grow for long. And I couldn't help but say this. Here's the other thing that we like about it that the other one doesn't do. That right there. You can move it in and out of if you want to bring it inside, you can. And just put pans under those drip trays and you'll be fine. But this is the kids, or I forget the term, but I'm going to put it on here right quick. Nobody can care. Little Picker's Garden Kit for young growers. And it's the same identical size, width, height, everything as that one that you saw out there. So I'm anxious to see what we get in there. Not sure yet, but hopefully, again, I'll show you all before long. Actually, right there is the finished product. Once you put, plants in there, you have to cut holes for them and that kind of stuff. It explains all that, but there you go.